Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is a continuation class from the last class where we did the complete ETL process, extracting, transforming and loading of data from Power Query to Microsoft Excel. Just to remind you, we worked on a restaurant data set, sales data set, and today we'll be going into data modeling, which is a continuation of last class. So before we get started, kindly subscribe if you are new. If you are not, please share for others to learn from this. So this is what's the table that we loaded from Power Query. And before we start the data modeling, I would like to run you through the objectives of this data set. Our objectives is to find the sales over time of this data set of this company, the sales that they have made over time, and to give possible solutions or insights to the business owner. We're also going to compare the cost of goods sold and the revenue, and also find the profit margin and see how we can compare all of that together. So let's go into data modeling. Okay, so for this data modeling, we are going to be using the pivot table and the power pivots for this. As you can see, I have my power pivots activated here. If you don't have it here, simply go to File, click on File, and then go to Options down here. So click on Options, then go to Add-ins. Click on Add-ins. So once you're here, you can just simply come down here and click on this arrow down, and then select this com add-ins, select it, and then click on go. So when you click on go, it brings you this where you can now select your Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel. You check that box and then say OK. So I already have mine checked. I already have my Power Pivot here. So if you don't have yours, please do that before we start. Okay, so once you are done activating your Power Pivot, the first thing we're going to do is to recognize our KPIs, which means key performance indicators. And our key performance indicators that we're going to find are number one, the total orders made, the total revenue, the total profit, percentage profit margin, and in correlation between the cost of goods and revenue, correlation between the cost of goods and the profit. So these are our KPIs, and we're going to find it using our pivot table. So for our KPIs, you can click anywhere on this table and then go to Insert, click on the pivot table here. So it brings you, click here and then say OK. So we're going to use a new sheet for our pivot table for our KPI. New sheets within the workbook. So this is our pivot table area. This place at the right hand side is the pivot table fields where you'll be doing your calculations. Where you have values is where you do your aggregates. Your rows is for counting, column for counting as well, and then we have filters over here. So you'll be using this for whatever you do in this worksheet. And so for what we want to do is want to first find the total orders that were made. First, we want to find the total orders made. So for the total orders, like we said, we have a primary key, and that primary key does not have duplicates, neither does it have an empty cell. So for that reason, we're going to be using our primary key to count the total orders. So you're going to drag this order ID, drag it down into where you have values. Like I said, values does the aggregate. So if you want to count, you want to find the sum, you want to find the average, so you put it here. So for now, we're going to count, put the order ID here, and it gives you the count. So it just counts it. So we have 49 orders made in this restaurant, and the next we want to find, that's the total orders made. Now we want to find the total revenue, the sum of revenue. So we're going to go down and look for revenue. Revenue is our TSP, total selling price. We're going to drag it down here, and then there we have the sum of revenue made. Next, we're going to find the total profit. So we're going to drag profit down as well, bring it into values, and we have our profit. We're going to do the same for TCP, which is cost of goods, because we'll need that to calculate our percentage profit margin. So we're going to put it in there. Yes, we have that. So next, I think we're done for now. Would find our profit margin using this. So our profit margin formula is equal to revenue, open a bracket and say revenue minus cost of goods, close that bracket, divided by revenue, and then multiply everything by 100. Okay, so this is the formula for our profit margin. So we're going to put a this is the formula for our profit margin. I'll just put a bigger bracket here. Okay, so this is our formula for profit margin. So we're going to use this for our calculation. So before we start our calculation for profit margin, I would like to copy this out because this is a pivot table calculation. I would like to make it just an ordinary Excel calculation, but there must be a connection between this and what I'm going to do here. So we're going to say equal to, click on this count of order ID and press enter. So you now drag it down, so it gives you 49, and drag it to the side, so it gives you orders. Now you can use this to calculate, and it's much easier than calculating from here. So let's calculate our profit margin using this formula. So we say equal to, our revenue is TSP minus, don't forget to open a bracket first and click on this, minus cost of goods, which is this, and then close that bracket and say divided by our revenue. Again, click on that and press enter. So you can now do the multiplication by 100 here, or you can just go to home and then click on the percentage here, and it changes it to 41%. So this is 41% sales made, profit margin made, which is not bad but can be improved on. So any profit margin from 40% and above is not bad but can be improved on. Okay, so you can we can now move into finding the correlation between cost of goods and revenue, correlation between cost of goods and profit. So for that, we're going to again use a pivot table to do that. So I'm just going to copy this, Ctrl C, and paste it down here, Ctrl V, because I'm going to use the same. But I'm going to, if you want to do away with a value here, you just simply click on it and remove it. So I'm going to click on this and remove it, bring it out, click on this out, remove this, we'll start afresh. So what I want to do is I want to bring in the order ID into the rows. I want to put it in the row. Okay, so it does that for me, and then I can now bring in my TCP, my TSP, and my profit, because I'm going to do a correlation between those three. Okay, so here we can now use our correlation formula to find the correlation. Okay, first between the cost of goods and revenue. So we're going to just click anywhere outside and say equal to correlation. So you have the formula there, and then it says array 1. So we're going to compare the cost of goods and revenue first. So we click on this and say Control Shift down. Oh, there we have a total here. I don't want this total to be here, so I'm going to have to cancel that and then remove that total. Okay, so how do we remove the total? Simply click highlight all of this down to the total and then go to design and then go to grand totals here and say off for rows and columns. So we're offing the totals for both rows and column. So having done that, we can now go back to our correlation formula. So we say equal to correlation, correl in bracket. Our first array is TCP, shift control down and say comma. And then the second array would be revenue, which is TSP. Click on this, shift control and arrow down and then close that bracket and press enter. Okay, so our correlation between the cost of goods and revenue is 0.99, which is a perfect positive correlation. I'm going to treat a different class on everything about correlation so that you can learn that, but for now just know the basics. This is a perfect positive correlation. I'm going to write that here, correlation between cost of goods and revenue. Okay, next we are going into the correlation between the cost of goods and the profit. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here and change this revenue to profit. Oh, so the formula is equal to correl in brackets. Click on cost of goods, shift control down arrow, comma, and then the next one is our profit. Click on that, shift control your down arrow, close that bracket and press enter. So we have our correlation between cost of goods and profit to be 0.96, which is also a perfect positive correlation, which means that if there's an increase in cost of goods, there's an increase in revenue, and if there's an increase in cost of goods, there is also an increase in profit, which is not bad. You can give that point to the stakeholders that they can actually invest more in the goods, and then in order to get more revenue and profits. Yes, so we are done with our KPI. So this is the KPI we'll be using for our projects. I'm just going to rename this sheet KPI, this worksheet, and press enter. I'm going to rename this to our file. Let's just call it restaurant file. Press enter. Okay, so next we'll be creating our charts and our tables for this. So we're going to create our charts using our pivot table, but before we do that, I would like to use the power pivots to expand this date column. I would like to expand this date column to months to and days of the week. So power pivots can help us do that. All you have to do is click on power pivots and then go to manage. Click on manage. So once you are here on manage, we would want to create a new date table that will expand, this date column for us. So you go to design up here, you see date table, click on the arrow down and click on new. So it creates a new table for you called calendar. This is our calendar table. We have the date, the year, the month number, which simply numbers the months. For example, January is number 1, February is number 2, and then we have the year dash month, we have the day of the week number, and we have the day of the week from Sunday to Saturday. So yes, so we have this as our calendar table. So meaning we have two tables that we're working with. Our main table, which is called the facts table, is called the facts table. I'll treat that in another video. And then we have another table called the calendar table. So for us to link, we have to link these two tables together so that they can have a relationship, meaning we're going to create a relationship between both tables so that we can work with them together. So go back to the home and then to your extreme right up here, you see diagram view. Click on that. You want to create a relationship between both tables. So you have the data model of the first table and you have the data model of the calendar table. So you're going to create a relationship between these two data models. We're going to find a column that is unique to both. Okay, like the date column is unique to sheet 1 and calendar. So they have the date column. They both have date column. So we're going to connect these dates from this sheet, from this facts table to the calendar table. So all you have to do is drag the click on the dates there, drag it to the dates in calendar. Make sure you are connecting from the facts table to the calendar, not from the calendar to the fact table, because we want to create a many to one relationship. Okay, so this is many to one relationship between the facts table, the actual table, and the calendar table. So when you are done with this, go up here and click on save. So your Excel will save that, and then go to home, go to data, and then click on refresh all so that you would refresh what you've done. Perfect. Now we can now insert our pivot table. Click anywhere on your Excel file and then go to insert pivot table right here, extreme left. Click on add this to data model and then say OK. So it brings you to your pivot table environment. So here what I want to do is I want to compare the cost of goods and the revenue based on the months. So remember, we're working with only January and February based on the file that was given to us, based on the data sets given to us. So we're going to just bring in the TCP down to the values to give us the sum. Bring it the TSP, which is revenue, down there. And then for the rows, we are going to bring in the month. We can bring in the dates. Just bring in the dates, or you see dates month here. If you don't want to use that, you can also go to all, and then you see your calendar, the calendar you created here. You can select month from here, bring it in. So you'd have January, February, and you have the calculations there. So what I want to do is I would select this and then go to design up here and go to grand totals here and off the total off for the rows and column. I don't want the total, I don't need it, so I would remove that. And then next I'm going to copy this out of the pivot table and make it a range. So equal to, click on row label and press enter. So we'll select this and drag it down and drag to the side. So we have that. We're going to use this to create a chart, and the chart we'll be creating is a bar chart. So go to insert. While selecting this, go to insert and then get a bar chart. Okay, yeah, something like this is fine. So we can use this chart. Okay, we'll do the editing later. So next I want us to create a bar chart also between the product and the sum of profit. So I'm simply going to copy this and paste it down here because I want to do everything here. So I'm going to remove this month. Just click on this and move it out. Okay, click on this, move it out. Then click on this and drag it out. So I want us to create between the to create a bar chart, a table between the product. So I'm going to look for the product. We have product here, put it in rows, the product and the profit. So I want to know the profit that each product that we got from each product. So I'm going to put that there. Okay, so I want to know the profit that we got. Okay, so next we're going to copy this out like we did. Say equal to, click on this, press enter, and then just drag it down to the side as well, and then to the side. Okay, so we're going to create a bar chart for this. Go to insert, get a bar chart. Okay, this works for me. We'll do the editing later, but for now let's just create our tables and charts. So again, just copy this, highlight this, and Control C, copy, then Control V, and paste it down there. So I'm going to use this also to create another table and then chart. So the next table I want to create is I want to compare the products and the selling prices plus the number of orders that was made in each product. So I will leave this product here as it is, and then I'll remove the profit. Click on the sheet, then I'll look for the TSP, which is revenue gotten from each product, and I want to know the quantity that was ordered for each product, sum of quantity, right? Okay, so this is the sum of quantity ordered for each product. So we're going to do the same. Just press equal to and select this and say enter. I'm going to drag this down and then drag it to the side. We're going to create a chart. I want us to use a combo chart for this. I want us to use this second one. Okay, we're going to do the editing later. So next we copy this again. The reason why we're copying and pasting is because we need to use the pivot table, and you must be in that environment in this table. If I click outside here, that's pivot table field will disappear. So I need to click here for it to appear. But you can also create from scratch if you don't want to copy. You can create from scratch by going back to your file and then inserting. You would go to a new sheet. I don't want to do all of that stress, so I'm going to just do everything here. So the next one I'm going to be creating is I want to compare the sales, the revenue I made, and which day of the week did I make most sales? Which day of the week do I receive customers the most? So I'm going to remove this product out of here and then go to calendar, go to more fields, and then day of week. I'm going to drag day of week here. So we have Sunday to Saturday. And then I'll remove sum of quantity and leave the revenue there. So this is what I want. I'm going to say equal to, and then click on row labels, press enter. Okay, drag it down, drag it to the side. So for this, I'm going to use the column charts, which is this. I'm going to use this one. And then finally, I want to create a sales over time. I want to create a sales over time, which is going to be a line graph. I want to compare each date with the sales price, with the revenue gotten every day. And then I want to create like a sales over time line graph. And I'm going to filter this based on the month. So for us to do that, I'm just going to copy this again and paste it down here so that I can use that to create our line graph. So remove this day of week and then go to dates. You can either bring in these dates or you can use the calendar dates, whichever works for you. So I'm going to remove this month. I don't want those dates months, remove dates, and then just leave the dates there. So you can see how long the date is. Okay. Remember, we're doing this based on we're comparing the dates and the selling price, the revenue gotten. Okay, sum of revenue gotten per day. So I want to filter this with the month. So I'm going to drag this dates month into the filter section here. Then first I'm going to filter this select multiple items, click on this, and then go to this plus sign, and let's first select, let's see January first and see. We'll compare both. So January is from 1st to 31st, complete month. Let's see February. Remove January, let's filter by only February. So February is stops at 19th of February. So we're going to start with February because it's shorter and it will not affect our graphs, the graph we want to create. So I'm going to say equal to here and click on the row label and press enter. Then I'm going to drag this down, okay, and drag it to the side. Now this is still a date, but in the format of, is in a general format, not in a date format. So just highlight this, go to general and change it to short dates. So it brings you back to your date. Then next we're going to filter now by January. Click on this filter here and then click on the plus sign. Remove the February and click on only January and say OK. So it will filter by January, and here you can see January is longer. So we're going to just it's stopping here because we filtered by February before. So now we're going to just copy this, say equal to, click on this and press enter, and then drag this down, drag to the side. So for this, if this is showing this, just come up here and double click. So it's showing the date, which is a wrong format. Just highlight this and then go to date, click on general, so it brings you back to numbers. So here we have our table between the date and the revenue. So now we're going to create a table, sorry, a line graph. Just highlight this down and then go to insert. I'm going to use this the first line graph here. I'm going to use this line graph. Perfect. So we have successfully created all the graphs we need. We just need to edit these graphs in order for it to look good. So for the chart title for this, I'm going to say revenue. I would say cost of goods versus revenue per month. Okay, so I'm going to drag this to the side. Okay, so now click on this plus sign and remove the grid lines. And okay, can leave the legend. Okay, the axis, click on this, remove the horizontal axis, I don't need it, and then go to data labels and click on that data label. Yes, this is okay. So next I would like to make this have the 1000 separator. Okay, just highlight this and click on 1000 separator, then remove the point, the decimal. Okay, so next we'll go to sum of profits. Click on this, let's do the editing. Click on the plus sign and then the horizontal axis, click on that, remove that. I would need my data labels, remove the grid lines. Okay, and then okay, perfect. We're going to sort it out from smallest to largest. Sort it out from the pivot table. Go to sort from smallest to largest. Okay, so this would appear here. So next I want to make these sizes bigger. Just click on any of the bars and right click, go to format data series, and then from here you can increase the gap or reduce it. Yes, reduce it Let's make it bigger. Okay, this is okay. So for this, I'll change the name to, this is between the products and the profit. So I would say profits per product. Okay, and then I'll drag it to the side. Perfect. So next is this. So for this one, I'm going to change the, of course, the chart title. Okay, this is going to be total sales, and order quantity per product. Okay, so I'll drag this to the side and then click on this plus and remove the okay, leave the axis. I might still remove some of the axis, remove the grid lines for sure. Then for the axis, you can leave it there. Go to data labels, click on this series, this orange series. Let's see if we can apply data labels there. Okay, yes, just leave it there. Then I'll do something about this axis, because if I remove any of these axes, it affects my graph and I don't want it to look that way. For example, if I remove the primary vertical axis, this will go down because it will measure only based on the secondary vertical. If I also remove the secondary vertical, the same thing. So I would not remove any of these. But when I'm creating my dashboard, I'm going to do something to cover this secondary axis. So next, I'm going to edit this. So first we'll change the name, the chart title, to total sales per day. Okay, and then we're going to drag this to the side. Sorry, we're going to drag this to the side and then click on this plus sign here, add the data labels to it, remove the grid lines, and then remove the vertical axis. Yes. Okay, this is okay. Finally, this, we're going to click on this and then I'll change the chart title to sales over time. Okay, this is sales over time, and then I'm going to drag this to the side, then click on plus sign there, remove the vertical axis, and then remove the grid lines. Okay, perfect. This is okay for me. So next, I think this is the end of this class. I'm hoping to create a full dashboard by next week in our next class. So if you are interested in seeing the full dashboard, please leave your comments down below so that I can create that, and then like this video, leave comments, share this video. Thank you so much, and please subscribe to my video. See you next time. Bye.